Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. You didn't make any noise as you're coming in. But welcome. I'm happy to have you here today. And genius to genius, let's have a conversation today. And I'm promising something. If you get any of these questions right, just one, I have like 10 of them. If you get one right, you have the right to ask me for money. And I'll send it directly to your M-Pesa. Exactly 100 cents. That's a shilling. I mean, it's a shilling you didn't have, so why not go for it? Let's start. So there is something called the Baba paradox, and it says a male Baba shaves all and only those men who do not shave themselves. Does he shave himself? So the male Baba shaves all and only those men who do not shave themselves. Does he shave himself? So he doesn't shave himself, so he shaves himself. Okay. Have you heard of the paradox of the court? A law student agrees to pay his teacher after and only after winning his first case. The teacher then sues this student, who has not yet won a case, for payment. So what happens? Does the teacher get paid or not? So assuming this student wins the case against the teacher, then he would have to pay the teacher because he won his first case. But then the teacher had sued the student and he lost the case, so he's not supposed to get anything. So what's supposed to happen around here? Okay. Have you heard of the Pinocchio paradox? What would happen if Pinocchio said, "My nose grows now"? You know of Pinocchio, right? Whenever he lies, his nose grows. But this time he says, "My nose grows." But this is not a lie. It's the truth. So his nose is not supposed to grow. But he said, "My nose grows." And he didn't grow. So it's a lie. Okay. Let's find something easier. This is becoming complicated. The bootstrap paradox. You send information or an object to your past self, but you only have that information because in that past you received it from your future self. This means the information or the object was never created, yet it still exists. Let me repeat it again. You are sending some information. Let's simplify it to just information. You are sending information to your past self. But the only way you are able to send this information to your past self is because in the future self you received it from. I'm even getting confused. You are sending information to your past self, but you only have that information because in the past you received it from the future. So which one created the information, the past or the future? It seems like none of them created the information. Yet there is information we are talking about here. This it's not looking good, my brother and my sister. Let's try something simpler. The grandfather paradox. This is a time travel kind of paradox. I don't know whether you believe in time travel. If I travel back in time and I kill my grandfather before he conceives one of my parents, this would mean that my parent would not be born, and therefore I would not be born. So, how can I go back and kill my grandfather. Okay, something simpler maybe. Another one, the Buridan's Bridge paradox. Okay, maybe this is easier. If your next statement is true, I will allow you to cross. But if it is false, I will throw you in the water. Very simple. Say the truth, you pass. Lie, you're thrown in the water. Then, and then I say something, I'm like, you will throw me in the water. So, if that is true, that you will throw me in the water, then I will allow you to cross. But if it is false, when I say you will throw me in the water and you will not throw me in the water, I will have said something false, which means I should be thrown in the water. Then what should happen? Should I be thrown into the water or not? Huh? I didn't think this world was as complicated as that. Okay, let's find something simpler. It doesn't seem like they're getting simpler, but let's try. The omnipotence paradox. Something omnipotent is something that is powerful, like infinitely, like the most powerful thing, powerful above everything else. So, can an omnipotent being create a rock too heavy for itself to lift? And this omnipotent being, can it create a rock that is so heavy that this omnipotent being can't lift it? And if that is possible, and it's not able to lift the rock, then is it omnipotent anymore? Because omnipotent means power to do anything, but now it can't lift this rock. So, yeah, what do you think? What do you think of that? Is it possible? Because again, if it can't create the rock, it's not omnipotent. And if it can't lift the rock, it's not omnipotent either. Anyway, maybe that's easier. And there is this other one. I'm sure you have seen it somewhere. You see a page in a book, and the page says, "This page has been intentionally left blank." Then the problem comes here. The fact that the page is written, this page is intentionally left blank, it means the page is not blank. The page has a whole sentence on it. Yet it was intentionally left blind. So, is it lying to us or is it telling us the truth? Okay, let's find another one. The paradox of tolerance. A tolerant society that tolerates intolerant ideas becomes less tolerant overall. So it is a tolerant society, so it's tolerating things. But then it goes as far as to tolerate intolerance as well. So it becomes intolerant. But it's a tolerant society. So is it tolerant or intolerant? Man, this world is complicated. Now let's try something else. The Cantor's paradox. The set of all sets would have its own power set as a subset. Therefore, its cardinality would be at least as great as that of its power set. But Cantor's theorem proves the power sets are strictly greater than the sets that they are constructed from. Consequently, the set of all sets would contain a subset greater than itself. It's like putting 2 kg of sugar in a 1 kg container and it fits. How? Yeah, that's Cantor's paradox. Man, how many have you gotten right so far? Okay, let's try and get you that 1 shilling M-Pesa money. The Zeno's paradoxes. Like if you're traveling from point A to point B, you need to get to the halfway point. At some point, the halfway between point A and point B. But when you're halfway between point A and point B, to get to point B, you need to get to half of the half of point A and point B. And to get from point A to point B, you need to be at half of the half of the half of point A to point B. And the halves continue. So you will never get to where you are going, according to these paradoxes. But somehow we do get to where we are going. How? How are we able? Let's try another one. The rule following paradox. Even though rules are intended to determine actions, no cause of action could be determined by a rule, because any cause of action can be made out to accord with the rule. So rules are intended to determine actions, but there is a rule that says don't take any action. So is it a rule or is it not? Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's try something else. This is the simplest one you will hear today. There is this guy who is a historical linguist. Historical linguist. So is this person a linguist who is historical, or just someone who studies historical linguistics? I think you might have seen this somewhere. Uh, this is my English teacher. Is it my teacher of English or my teacher from England? You tell me what I mean by that. And then there is the two envelope paradox. You are given two indistinguishable envelopes, each of which contains an amount of money. One envelope contains twice as much as the other. You may pick one envelope and keep whatever amount it contains. You pick one envelope at random, but before you open it, you're given the chance to take the other envelope instead. What are you supposed to do? I've seen this in game shows. What is the right course of action to take there? Should you switch the envelopes or should you keep the envelope you have? Hmm? And then there is the Faraday paradox. Faraday paradox. Dilute nitric acid will corrode steel, but concentrated nitric acid will not. I don't know whether you understand what the difference between dilute and concentrated. I mean, this stuff is conk, but it does nothing. But when you add some water to it, now it's dilute and everything. Now it has all the power in this world. Why? Why does that happen? Now, okay, maybe you know the next one here. The Klein paradox. When the potential of a potential barrier, the potential of a potential barrier becomes similar to the mass of the impinging particle, it becomes transparent. Man, the potential of a potential barrier. So potential barrier is a barrier to potential, and it becomes similar to the mass of the impinging particle. Then it becomes transparent. Like how does it become transparent if it's similar to the, my goodness. Let me know if you got anything today. Have a nice day. Thank you.